Welcome to MATH0920 Elementary Algebra. My name is Dr. Barry Smith, and I'm going to be your instructor for the course. My office is in PS130. Here's my phone number. My email, which is probably the best way to contact me, is at barry.smith@caspercollege.edu. Now, when you send me an email, be sure to send it from your Casper College email address because due to FERPA regulations, I have to reply to a Casper College email address. My office hours are here, and there's in my office in PS130, or if you need to have Zoom office hours, that's also available. Just let me know. Here's a short intro video about myself. You're watching the Moodle overview. This is a video about mom logins, so how to get credentials to log into my open math, basically. Here is a video about due dates being explained, hopefully a little bit better than maybe the syllabus if that didn't make sense. Here's announcements where I'll post it, the course content. Probably the most important link here up on the top is probably this YouTube channel. So what I've done is I made YouTube videos for all of the different sections that we're going to cover this semester. And so, it has multiple parts for each section. Sometimes, like this case 4, sometimes they have more or less. But there's 98 videos for the whole class. And hopefully that will help you along with the actual book to be able to get through and understand the material as well as be able to do the homework and take the quizzes and exams. Course documents. So here's the syllabus. It should be complete, but there's going to be a point where I'm going to update it once I get information from the testing center. I'll put the testing center information at the very end of it. Here's a calendar for semester. So basically it's the outline of what we're doing when and how it's going to happen. Here's a link for the testing center. So since all the exams have to be proctored, that takes you right to the place. And all you have to do is hit schedule your appointment, and it'll let you schedule an appointment for whatever day you would like to have that done on. Here's the textbook for the main part, and here's the kind of the sub-chapter for the very first module we're going to do, which is module 0. It's out of a different book, but between those two, that has all the information you're going to need for this class. Here's the math study skills. This is kind of how to study properly, and it doesn't have to always be meant for math. I've had students tell me, hey, this worked really great for my science class or this other class, and so they're really just study skills in general, but it was written from the point of view of taking a math class. Here's some help from entering answers in MOM if you haven't help problems with that. This sometimes helps some people. Here's some videos by another instructor. So when you open this one, it kind of does this web page, but then it used to over here on the side list some videos of interest. And so she's the one who actually has the textbook and kind of gives you a bunch of different things. So you have to really search through what you're looking for to find kind of the problem you're looking for. She doesn't give a lot of videos, and there's just like one problem for each video. So it's not as much help, I don't think, as the one from my YouTube channel, but it's a little extra there. Helpful links. This is where you click to get your login credentials for My Open Math. Now, if you've already got login credentials from another course, they'll still work for this course. You just have to use your username and password a little bit later. I'll show you where that works. Here's the Digital Learning Center link, help desk and information technology department if you need help with logins or whatever. Disability services, tutoring study resources, student handbook. Now, these are videos about how we can all succeed in math. They're kind of motivational videos. So Power of Believing, the script video, eliminating math anxieties, study skills, things like that. So these are all kind of good videos to kind of hopefully boost your morale and make it so that you realize you can actually do good in math. And succeed. Here's some useful websites. Khan Academy has some extra videos and things that will help you with different items in algebra. Desmos, which is a graphing calculator, and if you've got a TI calculator that you don't know how to use, this sometimes helps as well. Now, the gist of the class actually starts here, like at module 0. So when you open module 0, first thing you do is you do an introduction. So talk about yourself, post a picture of yourself if you would like. Then there's a syllabus quiz. So after you've read the syllabus, do the syllabus quiz, and then you can, understand what kind of things I'm looking at from there. Here's a math poll, answer honestly, if you love math, hate math, whatever, it's interesting to see where people stand. Now, here's the very first assignment in My Open Math. So once you click that, if you've never logged into the course yet, first time you have to put in your username and your password for My Open Math. it'll save it in Moodle. And so if you ever open another assignment in Moodle, like say the homework, it'll remember it and you don't have to type it in ever again. So once you click it in here, type it in here, it'll remember it from then on. It's a single sign on into Moodle and you're done. So then we have the objectives for module 0, we have the readings for module 0, and then it breaks it down sometimes into readings for the integers, some extra videos that are kind of put together. They're not always working, sometimes they all work, and then sometimes also one will break. So if any of them break, let me know. And again, they're outside videos, they're not mine. Then you have homework and quiz. And so those two things are kind of to kind of get you going. Homework's for a certain amount of points for the course. Quizzes are a different amount. And then it works again. Now you did point 2, point 3, point 4. And then after you've finished all the 4 sections, then there's a practice exam for chapter 0. And so basically, I would suggest take that practice exam one time, see what you do. Maybe you only miss things out of section 3. And then I would go back to section 3, maybe read the section again, and on the points that you didn't understand, practice some more homework problems or the quiz some more if you still have attempts, and then go take the practice exam again and see if you do better. Maybe this time you don't miss anything. And so, hey, you're ready for the exam. So then if you're ready for the exam, go ahead and take this pre-exam self-reflection. And it's going to ask you, how do you think you're ready for the exam? Or did you study well? Do you study right? It just kind of makes you self-reflect on where you think you are for this first exam or for any of the exams, because you have this for every exam. And then you go take the exam. And then once you get done taking the exam, you'll have seen how you've done, and then you can come back and say, okay, well, I thought I did really good, but I blew it or whatever, and the reason why was because this happened in my life right before I took it, and I had a I don't know, car wreck or something, and so then my mind was on that instead of taking the exam. So that way I can see that. Or maybe here you said, I don't think I'm ready, but I'm still going to take it, and over here, oh well, I guess I really did good, and so maybe I'm self-doubting myself, and it helps you understand where you're at as well as me, because sometimes I go in and I see an exam score and maybe they're all hundreds. I'm like, oh, this person's doing really good, but they have a lot of self-doubt, and I can see that they're doubting themselves, or maybe they think, oh, hey, I'm going to do really well, and then they fail, and then afterwards they say, well, I had this come up in my life, and that's probably why. And then we have the study skills journal. So this is a journal where you have to read the study skills point where I talked about before up here. Here it is, and it talks how to study. And so once you've done that, then basically you're gonna have to write on whatever it says. So I would suggest when you first open module 0, click on this and say, hey, what am I supposed to look at? And so it'll tell you, this is what you're supposed to look at. And then that way, when you're going through the module, you're using those study skills that ask you to look at and say, hey, does that work for you? And then you can post if it worked or it didn't work. And then you go to module 1, which is now chapter 2. And so we have our objectives, we have our readings, and then these are all practice ones. So those are practice. They don't say they're homework or quizzes. And so these are kind of practice to get you ready. Then you have your homework and you have your quiz. Now, things that say marked is done or mark is done, those are the ones that count for points. Up here, these don't count for points. And so those you can do, you don't have to do them. A lot of people like to get the practice in before they start the homework or the quiz. And so that's why they're there. Now, they weren't in there for module 0 because I pulled things out of a different book, and so it didn't tie in very well with these questions. So it's not like that. But then it gets to the thing, and you have another practice exam, pre and post self-reflections, as well as that chapter exam. Now, every other module is going to be where you do the study skills. So there's no study skills in this one, but module 2, we have, again, the practice stuff, then we have the homework, then we have the quiz, we have the practice exam, pre and post self-exam, chapter exam, and then we have the study skills again. So that's how it's going to work, every other one. And then we get to that final module here in module 7. And then we have basically our final exam. So it's a practice for the final pre and post self-reflections, as well as the actual final exam. And then there's an exit survey to kind of just click buttons on what you thought about the course and things like that. And so that kind of helps me to see later on what you thought about different parts of the course. So that's all I have for kind of the Moodle overview. If you have any other questions, please let me know. And here's to a great semester.